You see, Castorice here needs a tribute. It gives you buffs, it gives you fall attack for the heals, for more charges. It's a lot. But when my tribute ended up being this gremlin, I gotta get some alternatives. Oh, damn it. Welcome to I Use Castorice with no tribute. So I prepared every decent team you can put together. We're talking Sunday Ruanmei, Sunday RMC Pela, Mydei Ruanmei, like just everything that made sense. Interestingly enough, you may find these teams better than you think. With that said, let's start things off everything to do with Ruanmei. Given you can get her for free, we might be able to see the new best free-to-play team of this version, like this setup. Yeah. Pretty much all three of them are free. The first side starts very similarly to any other team, where you're just setting up every buffs for Castorice. And with your team having only one damage dealer, it's pretty easy. Just run like buff, make sure men buff Castorice, go crazy. What I am noticing with this team is just the abundance of skill points you have. Realistically, you can have every supporter be skill point positive, which is busted. But to maximize Castorice in this team, you simply have to make sure Gallagher and RMC use their skills whenever they can, since they both get you HP change. That's gonna convert into Castorice's charge, and obviously when you get the dragon to appear, hold off healing anyone with Gallagher and RMC and only do so after the dragon dies. That's pretty much the gist of the things with this team. It is extremely easy to use, and the damage? Hey, that's not bad at all. Back in the day when Blade would do 100k, I would shit myself. On that aside, this damage output is certainly solid for my stats, which I'll show later. Note that Ruanmei here is E0, so it's like a pretty relatable result that we're getting here. Unfortunately though, we can't quite get the 0 cycle here. I thought man would get the 100% charge here, but it just didn't. It is unfortunate as well because Ruanmei also delayed the enemies that were weakness broken earlier. If they had hit us here, we definitely would have gotten 100% and 0 cycled this wave. Well, let's move on and fight the next wave, which is this guy. This the guy that basically beat up 3 kids in the story and felt good about it. The only one gimmick with this boss is you want to make sure he summons his mobs first, then murder them all with a dragon, which will remove his 8 stacks of damage reduction. I mean, even with all of that, we're still doing like 1,000,000 damage. Like you'll see later that my stats and even my traces are not maxed. So this is some unthinkable performance when most of them here are free. This is pretty good. Moving along, you're mostly doing Gallagher and MC's skill for more HP change. Skill with Ruanmei before her duration ends, gain Castorice's charge, time every buff so everything's up when the dragon is there, and voila! You're equipped to drop 1.2 million and end the first phase. Whoa, newsflash! It's the exact same for the second phase. It is surprising that there's really not much difference between 2 ways for this guy. He probably does more damage, but that ain't gonna stop him from his own death. So yeah, more healing, more charges, more buffs for the dragon. Boom, 1.2 million. Game is over in 4 cycles. We could have had a 0 cycle clear for the first wave here anyway, so it's closer to being a 3 cycle clear than a 4 cycle, honestly. Just so you get an idea, my traces are mostly like level 8. My stats are mid. This is very respectable from a mostly free team, and in fact, this is probably the strongest low budget team there is right now. God bless Ruanmei for being free, not gonna lie. Swap off RMC for Mydei, you get the most comfortable, the safest, the smoothest experience you will ever get, because get this, 2 of your allies have 0 skill point usage, with Mydei just auto playing anyway. Your damage on Castorice certainly drops obviously, but this is actually my favorite team because Mydei's HP change allows Castorice to gain her charge faster. In exchange for the lower damage, we got 1 whole extra ultimate from Castorice, which considering each is 700k damage and Mydei topping off some calm 300ks here and there, you actually get a really similar result for a 4 cycle clear. By the way, we also lost the 3 cycle clear by 1% HP. I don't know if 1% strikes again. So far, we got 2 teams and, well, here are some fun stats. I don't know. Maybe you guys will like them. But now we gotta get into the spotlight of this video, if you will. It's everything to do with Sunday. Normally you'd think the guy that makes Memo Sprite go crazy is good with Castorice, but contrary to popular belief, that is actually not quite the case. You see, the problem is you can't buff the dragon if it spawns after you use Sunday's buff or ult on Castorice. Stay with me now. The Memo Sprite itself has to be on the field already for the buffs from Sunday to be applied to it. That means Castorice has to summon the dragon first, then Sunday puts all the buff on it. It actually makes it less intuitive to play Sunday with her, but if you ain't got the kid, you gotta stick with what you got. And this is how you play Sunday with Castorice in the best way, where all the buffs stick on the dragon and you maximize your damage output. Say you have Sunday and Ruanmei here. Start the game by letting your dragon explode. Now you got a level playing field and you have to set things up so all the buffs are on Castorice's dragon for the next time it appears. Ruanmei is easy since her skills will buff the dragon at any time as long as it exists. Just make sure the duration does not end. So you heal your Gallagher, use Sunday's skill on Castorice, summon the dragon of Castorice, and only after the dragon is out, you use Sunday's ult on Castorice. If you do this correctly, Sunday's ult will also be applied to the dragon. And yeah, if you wouldn't know this right now, we do not have Sunday's skill buff on the dragon, even though we already buffed Castorice beforehand. Reason being, we used Sunday's skill before the dragon got summoned, and we need it to be done after for the buff to be applied to the memo sprite, or the dragon itself. But then when you summon the dragon, it takes the turn instantly, leaving you with no way to use Sunday's skill and buff the dragon beforehand, and it will just go in and nuke itself, right? What you can do here to solve the problem is simply use the dragon's skill 3 times, end it with a basic attack. That way the dragon will still survive while you maximize the dragon's skill damage. That gets you more damage the more it is used consecutively. And then use everyone's skill since you're rich for skill points. You will have to get another turn with the dragon here since it is that much faster, which is pretty awkward, right? You would have no choice but to use 1 skill or 2 if you get enough healing and end it with a basic again so the dragon does not die. And only then you can have Castorice use your skill, which heals the dragon massively. Then Sunday buffs Castorice while the dragon is alive. Yep, obviously Sunday has to be slower than Castorice in this setup, which again I'll show all the stats later. And once you do all of that correctly, you can finally put the crazy damage increase buff on both Castorice and the dragon. Castorice uses her skill and heals the dragon back to full here, and we can finally spam the dragon's skill 4 times in a row. All the buffs are up, maximum damage achieved. The dragon now explodes, and from there you just gotta repeat the same thing over and over again. Buff the dragon after it's summoned, hold off exploding till Sunday pushes Castorice again, and then spam your skills with the dragon, thereby killing it. I mean, you're still doing a million damage, and it's a 4-cycle clear, which isn't really even that bad considering the list so far. Here's a cool thing though. If you have Ruanmei hold dance, speed tune Castorice and Sunday to exactly this amount, you can time it so Castorice and Sunday gets pushed ahead of the dragon before its second turn, which doesn't really change too much, but it's less awkward feeling, I suppose. I still cleared the stage in a similar time, so yeah, it's not that big a deal. Seriously, all of these teams kind of just perform similar because when you throw caution to the wind and just slam an RMC instead of Ruanmei, you still have to do the whole Sunday shenanigan of waiting for Castorice to ult, and Sunday ult, and dragon holds off exploding. Sunday pushes Castorice, full heals the dragon, explodes with 4 skills. All of that just to keep the buffs intact on the dragon when it is supposed to do all the damage. Even when RMC is mixed in and you get like random pushes of Castorice, it's harder to plan for it, but it still ended up being a 4-cycle clear without really min-maxing it. So if you're wondering if Ruanmei or RMC is better, well, here's your answer. It's not that big of a deal. You can use any of them. They'll perform very well anyway. Now when your Ruanmei unlocks her E1 because we just got gifted a Ruanmei in game, Ruanmei becomes better than RMC in this slot, obviously. Now if you're totally broke, you swap out Sunday with Pela, you'd be happy to know that Pela does have very similar performance compared to even Sunday, and the main reason is because of the defense shred and the nature of this boss being multi-target. You pretty much have like a lot of that shred on the enemy, so the damage you're doing with Castorice is quite high. And since with Sunday, you kind of have to be a bit more awkward with like not letting the dragon die. But with Pela in your team, you don't have to worry about all of that. Just have the dragon be up, have the death shred be up, and you can explode the dragon every time. Considering Pela has a wind set on and is pretty quick, we can put on defense shred quite constantly. And not to mention, we have like pretty much infinite skill point in this team anyway, so it was not that big of an issue just keeping up the defense shred on Pela. And still, we managed to have 7 ult usage with this team, and the cycle clear is again at about the same amount. Now, do note that this is all with very relatable setup. My stats are mid, have had it on screen. My traces aren't even max, like none of them are. Literally, you can't have a worse account than mine if you're an active player because I play this game kinda casually. I also only farm in a win set cover because that set's goated. Speaking of casual, that is also why I'm using Gallagher over Luocha for all of these teams. Just know that Luocha work pretty much the same. It's not gonna suddenly make your team 50% faster or anything like that. So that is what happens when don't get trippy. Our death sentence here, it's still pretty strong, and there's just a lot of options for everybody still. You're gonna have a team for her, and also you're gonna want to check out this video too. The banger video as well, spent 80 hours on it. You better click it.